Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweight. Come good with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Screamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. Over here's my partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn, Carolina Lightweights. Over the top of him, we got Kevin Walters, Monster Cat Catfishing Tackle. Welcome to the Slime Show, buddy.
Thank you.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great, man. Doing great.
Tonight, we're not going to have much of a format. We're just going to shoot the breeze and wherever it goes, we'll see where it goes. So, Jamie, start this thing off. You got anything on the horizon or new that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, we're playing tribute to one of our pro staff this week. We released a brand new rig called the Jesse James Outlaw Spinner Rig. And there it is, guys.
Yeah. I'll tell you
what,
what, man. I've used that rig for the last couple of months. I don't know why, if it's the vibration or what, but they love those damn spinners.
Yep. And this is the version
big fish. Our biggest fish been coming off those spinners.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the version 2 that's coming out next week. One single big blade.
Yep. All I can say is it must put out a little weird vibration or something. That guys, it works.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in anything that rattles or vibrates or make noise, man. I've always had a much better success rate just with anything, whether it's just an inline rattle, a demon dragon, whatever. I want noise down there.
I agree. I
always looked at it like this, like, if there's something, when we're fishing, we're down there in their house. That's their house, right? So think about if you're in your house and you hear a noise out in your living room, you don't know what that is, you're going to go check it out.
Yeah, and then there's
I kind of correlate that with the fish. When they hear that noise in their house, they're like, what's that?
Yeah, and then they see that double cheeseburger over there, and they're like, oh, yeah. What's that? I'm kind of hungry.
That's it.
So let's run through here and see who we got in the house tonight. My computer's messed up. I'm running off this iPad. So we got 351 Cleveland. We got Jesse James, Anglerholics. That's the rig we named after Jesse because he nailed a 65 and it was his PB. We got it on that rig. We got Clayton, the certified fishing nut. What's up, Clayton? We got Eagle Eyes TN, our Operation Vets with Nets Texas captain. What's up, Juan? We got Alexander Doty with Cookies Outdoors. What's up, Alex? How you doing, buddy? We got Greg Mays. He's our new Carolina Lightweights pro staff. He's pro staff with Kevin over at Monster Cat Catfishing Tackle. What's up, Greg? Welcome in, buddy.
Yeah,
we got Mike Greenwell. What's up, Mike? Welcome in, man. We got Paul Story. Welcome in, Paul. We got my hometown boy, Vess Cooks. Well, welcome in, Vess. How you doing, buddy? We got Chaos. We got the world famous Brandon Ladd. We got Jim Butts. Welcome in. Glad to have you guys with us, and thanks for joining us tonight, Kevin.
Yes, sir. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
One thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is your boating accident. So I'm crazy thing that happened to you. You said it happened real quick. Tell everybody a little bit about what had happened and maybe
it might save somebody's ass one day if
Well,
they're in that situation.
It's I'll tell you, a lot of it is myself. I've been on the water fishing in boats since I was about 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, I had a John boat that I used to go right out here in the Ohio River, a little 9.9 on the back, and that was big stuff back then, And I've been on the water. I'm 45 years old, and I've been out there since I was 14 years old, and I've been in some hairy situations, but never per se anything that had me rattled or any type of an accident. And I think when you build complacency after a while, you start overlooking things. You just get complacent with how everything is, that everything's all right all the time. So it's a day.
You can handle anything. You
Yeah,
think you can handle
I mean, well, you trust your gear and your equipment, your boat. You know it inside and out, and you get complacent that everything's always okay. And it was the day before Thanksgiving, and it was really, really, really cold. I mean, it was cold. So I decided to go out for a little bit and go fishing. Went up, was looking for some bait, and I always kick on the live well pump to pump some water in when I head up to look for bait, just so I have water in the tank already. So I was up in there, and I was one of my friends had been up in there a few days prior, and bait was kind of scarce at the time, so we was really like searching for it. And he had told me there was some bait a certain place, so I went up in there, and I'm just stone cold staring at the graph, scanning for bait, talking to him on the phone like, "Where was you?" And not paying attention to nothing. Next thing, I got on. It's cold. It is freezing cold out. I got on, big coveralls and muck boots up to my knees, And next thing I know, I moved and I heard water slosh. I'm like, what the heck? I look down and my boat is plumb full of water. There's my buddy Trent Williams, man. That's the dude that saved my life. Him and his son. They saved my life that day, man. But I was talking to him on the phone, and I moved my leg and I heard water slosh, and I was like, what the hell? And I looked down and the whole boat was full of water. And I was like, I told Trent, I said, man, I'm in trouble. My boat's going down. And it was that quick. I didn't even realize it. By the time, I dropped my phone and my phone went down in the water in the bottom of the boat. And I was like, oh man, this is it. And by that time I turned around and the transom started to dip under the water, and it was a wrap. Once that transom went under, it was over. I didn't even have time to grab my life jacket out of the compartment. And I really thought I was in some trouble. And how I made it to the bank, I have no idea, because as soon as I slid into the water out of the bow of the boat when it went down, it was like 1,000 needles and pins just poking all over my body from that cold water. Like I couldn't feel my arms or legs. Somehow I made it to the bank. Trent, he knew, I had a general idea where I was, him and his son Nathan. He knew I was in trouble. They came looking for me. They found me on the bank, still half in the water, laying there like incoherent, just out of it. And they called emergency services and got, the fire department and ambulance there to take care of me, and got me took care of, man. Them guys stripped me naked, got all my wet clothes off of me, and them boys stripped down to their boxer shorts in the freezing and putting their clothes on me, trying to get me warm. And those are some good friends I'll never forget, the rest of my life.
Man, you're lucky that you were in an area that they were familiar with from getting bait.
Yeah, and they got to me. I think it probably took them about 15 minutes to get to me.
Damn.
So it's pretty.
They were out on the water.
No, they was at their house, but where they live was literally 10 minutes away, if that.
Wow.
But what had happened was the live well pump. Up here in Ohio, it gets pretty daggone cold in the winter. So the pump, the intake pump, had froze apparently and cracked and busted. So when not only was I taking on water the whole time I was out there and didn't realize it, when I kicked that live well on to put water in the tank, I just compounded the issue. And I got so complacent that I didn't realize what was going on and what happened until it was too late. But while I was in the hospital, man, all them guys, all of my local fishing friends here, Trent, Nathan, Dusty, all them guys, they took their rollback tow truck, man. Somehow they got that thing back down through the woods and over the bank. They had my boat pulled out on the back of that tow truck.
Damn.
Shot before I got out of the hospital.
Wow.
And them guys hung with me 8 hours a day, every day, and we tore that boat apart and completely rebuilt that thing, man. And that is one thing I love about our community, the catfish community. Something happens to somebody, it seems like everybody comes out and wants to help. Best community in the world. But, if I could learn anything from that now, it's to not be complacent. No matter how long you've been doing that, how comfortable you are, always be alert, be aware. Things go wrong, and usually when they go wrong, it's quick. It happens.
Yeah.
Really fast.
So that boat, it sank and there was nowhere on it. It was underwater.
Oh yeah, there was. I think a little bit of the bow may have been above, but I keep a 75-foot rope. It's a floating rope. I keep it attached to the front cleat of the boat at all the time. It's curled up in a curl, laying up in the bow of the boat. And that rope had actually floated up, and that gave him something to hook to get it pulled out. But yeah, she was sunk.
Man, that's one reason I don't go fishing unless I tell somebody exactly where I'm going, or just exactly the same spot that we're going. Normally just in case something happens like that, so somebody would know.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have been on the phone, because that was a place, honestly, I'd probably only been there 2 times in my life. And the last time I was there prior to that accident, probably been years and years. So it ain't somewhere I frequent that anybody would even known to look for me.
Yeah, you'd have been dead.
Yeah, without me actually being on the phone talking to him, because they had told me bait was up in there and whatnot. It could have been it's hard to tell. I did manage to get myself most of the way out of the water. Like my lower half of my body was still in the water, but my chest was up on the bank.
That's great.
I could have probably laid there and froze to death with hypothermia, Who knows?
Man.
But I definitely owe them guys everything,
Man, I tell you, the good Lord was with you that day. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You would think at this point they would design these boats where they wouldn't go all the way under.
Yeah.
I've sunk a bass boat before when I was a bass fisherman, but this I will say, this boat I got now, my wife was my last boat. She's like, no way in hell you're taking that kid out there in those big waves and crazy crap you always do. So I went and got a bay boat, and I don't think it'll sink, but I ain't gonna test it.
Right. It ain't something you'll try.
Chris, of course I got that Pro Cat I got, and the back transom on them things are real low.
Yeah.
We were fishing a tournament back in, I believe, October on Santee Cooper when it picked up pretty heavy out there, and I almost lost that boat from where the waves come in from the backside. And we filled it up with water, and luckily enough, we were able to get it on plane for a right good while to get the water out. So I invested in some of those wave whackers and put it on the back of it this week just for that reason.
Yeah. It's scary when you start taking waves over the back or over the front, and the inside of your boat starts filling up with water, and you're like, damn, I'm about to test this pump out, see if it's going to be working. I hope it does, because that'll start making you nervous.
Yeah,
man.
we got in some hairy stuff down on Willer Lake in Alabama fishing a Sea Arc tournament a couple of years ago. We was in a Sea Arc River Cat, and man, I'm telling you, I was like, get us over to the bank. I did not want nothing to do with being in the middle of that lake that day. It was a bad deal.
Man.
Yeah, that little boat I had, I took some rollers over the front, and I had tackle boxes and coolers floating in the lake, and the boat was full of water. And was quick enough to think I better get on the big motor quick. And I got on the big motor and just hammered down. That thing just would bear. The motor was almost underwater, but I just went slow. I didn't take any more waves over the front, and eventually it dumped enough where I just started hauling ass, and it, saved me because it was in the middle of winter. And I thought, man, that wouldn't have been good. There ain't nobody out here to save me. I wouldn't have been able to call anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not too big on sinking boats, but if I ever had to do it again, I would rather it be in the middle of the summer because that winter water, it is cold in Ohio in the winter.
He'll definitely test your nerves, that's for sure.
I'm telling you.
Greg May says he'll be testing out his new boat this weekend. He was rigging that thing up today.
That's awesome.
Exciting stuff, Greg.
I might have to slip down to
rigging up a new boat.
I might have to slip down to Alabama and jump in with him one day and do some fishing.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I want to slip down there myself and Rebecca, get down there with him and do some fishing sometime this summer also.
Yeah.
What's up, Tub? What's up, Dave? Welcome in, boys.
What's going on, Dave?
So for those that don't know, Kevin, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. I think everybody in here probably knows you, but
I'm Kevin Walters. I'm the owner of Monster Cat Catfishing. We've been in business now for a little over 3 years. We started out, originally I'm a firefighter paramedic. That's my actual career. I've been a firefighter paramedic for about 21, 22 years. But how I even got I've been catfishing my whole life since I was a young boy. I've always loved it. And, with being in the job I'm in, sometimes it gets a little stressful. So I've always used catfishing as kind of like my release. I've always called it my drug of choice, if you will, because I see a lot of guys that's, even military veterans, police officers, firefighters, they fight a lot of demons sometimes. And I see so many of them that, uses alcohol as that release or drugs and I've always used catfishing as my release. But as we all know, when you get into doing it all the time, it can get a little expensive. So my wife one day told me, she said, "You are going to bankrupt us fishing. You're going to get another job if you want to keep fishing the way you are." And I was like, "I don't know about all that. Another job is less fishing." So I had this harebrained idea that I'm going to start a tackle company. And we did. And we made it happen. We put the work in and we work our ass off and try to take care of our customers. And my goal is to have the best customer service possible. And, every person that spends one single red cent with me, I want to earn that. I want to earn that customer. I want to earn their business. I don't expect anything from anybody. To me, I think anybody in business out here that has a product to offer, we should never take our customers for granted. We need to earn their business. That's their money they worked hard for. And, we need to earn their trust and earn their business from them. So that's always been my philosophy. And we started out small, and, there was a lot of good people that's been with me from the beginning that hung with us. And, Matt and them over at Mad Cats, them guys are so awesome. We are so privileged and honored to carry their products and offer our customers the Mad Cat lineup and products from Mad Cats.
They're all right. They're all right.
Yeah. Stacy Gaston done a SmackDown Catfishing. He's been with us from the very beginning. We started carrying his rod holders. So we really try to offer the best products in the business to our customers. And we've built a customer base over the last 3 years that is great. Last year we experienced a lot of growth. And my thing is, though, we was talking, pre-show a little bit. I don't want to, we're not the top dog. We're nowhere near the top dog. We're a little fish in the big ocean. We're happy being who we are. We're happy with our customer base. We'll be extremely happy to grow our customer base and serve more people. But I don't want to get so big, to where our customer service lacks. I want to be able to provide 100% to every one of my customers at any time. And in our philosophy, we want to carry from A to Z. If you're into catfishing, I want you to be able to come, and see us and get everything you need to catch that catfish. From the hook to the fish finder to the trolling motor to the rod to the reel. Just be kind of like that one-stop shop. If you need something, come see us, and we're going to take care of you.
I think you're one of the first ones where it had all the really high specialized type gear that hardcore anglers needed. Before that, it was,
right.
You had bottom dwellers and Catfish Connection, but they didn't have everything that hardcore guys like to use. And you have to buy this over there. You got to go get this over there, get that over there. Monster Cat Catfishing come along, and they got pretty much every, all the really specialized type equipment that a lot of us like to use. So
yeah, and it took us a little while. We started out really small, and it took a while of working hard and making connections and proving ourselves to a lot of people that we're not just some Joe Schmo fly by night. We're here for the long haul. We're here for the anglers, and I want to serve every catfisherman, from the novice guy that's just getting started and don't know nothing. Hey, my phone number's all over my website. That's my personal cell number, man. And I tell everybody, call me. You got questions, I got answers. I'll help you. I can't tell you how many people, customers even, that come and I take out fishing with me, to show them what is my passion. I love to introduce my passion to somebody new, and get them into the game, and let them experience what we experience. So we try to serve, from the novice fisherman all the way up to the professional angler. And that's our goal. We offer tournament grade, quality tackle, like I said, the Mad Cat rods and reels and Abu and pin and, Humminbird, Minn Kota, all this stuff we carry.
I tell you, man, you've got a heck of a selection, brother. And I seen when you started adding on the electronics and stuff like that also.
Yeah.
And, trolling motors, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. And, there's more products out there. The catfish market has ever expanded. There's people every day is coming out with great products. There's more products we'd like to add to the lineup. Like we was talking with Jamie earlier, Carolina Lake Weights. We want to get them, on there and start carrying that product. And that's what I say. There's a product out there for everybody, like Tyra and Craig with Dirty South Dragon weights. Those are great weights, and there's people out there that loves those weights. Jamie's weights are great. I want to offer something for everybody. Whatever your flavor is, we're gonna have it.
I think it's good to have variety. So guys,
yeah.
All right, I don't know. I'm not sure about which hook I want. So it's beneficial to you to have all of them, because then they buy more from you.
Right.
And it's good to be able to test things and find out what each person likes best. A lot of this stuff is personal preference.
Right.
Rods, fishing line, hooks. It's a lot of personal preference. So I think it's cool to be able to get a variety and test them out for yourself and decide what you like,
Yes, sir.
That's it.
But, with our company, like I said, without folks out there like Matt Knight and Stacy Gaston and guys like that's been around for a little bit, and, none of this would be possible, without guys like that's helped us along the way and let us carry their products and offer them to our customers.
Yeah.
So I'm really indebted and grateful for guys like that's helped me along the way to get where we're at.
Very true. There's some some of the best fellows you'll ever meet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they've been good to me too. I can tell you, it's not just the other companies; they're good to us.
Right.
Those guys are great to us anglers too.
Yeah.
I think they've changed the game. Really, those two guys have changed the game, and it's made everybody else have to start kind of supporting their anglers rather than just you know it being it's all for us. Now it's beneficial for everybody to you know.
And the big thing, these companies, you know, that push conservation, you know, of our resources, you know, we gotta push that right there, no matter what. I mean, you know, money is part of it, and we're in business to try to make money and try to provide a living, you know, and for our families. But you know, one of our top goals, aside from money and whatnot, should be when we're promoting this, we need to promote it the conservation in first and foremost. Explain to new anglers coming in why we do what we do, why we catch, photograph, release these catfish. You know, companies like Mad Cat, that's their number one goal, is promoting that conservation.
I think that you know, it's important to do that, and I respect guys that do that. And I'll tell you, if somebody's not willing, if a company's not willing to stand up to do that, I won't use their stuff.
Right.
And I've seen some guys on social media that run some of these other companies that say, you know, who am I to say what someone else does as long as they're not breaking the law? Well, I realize they're not breaking a law, but you need to be a leader in this and stand up for this if you want to make a change.
And you know, I look at it to like each their own, man. You know, different strokes for different folks, but I feel as somebody in the catfish industry that is doing this, I feel a responsibility to educate people, especially new anglers, young anglers. I feel the responsibility as a business owner selling stuff to these folks to try to put that education out there and make them understand why it's important. Why is that so important, you know? And once, you know, most of these people, once you explain it to them why it's so important that we do this, they're like, oh, I never thought of that, you know, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, but if I'm going to give my money to a company, I like them to, number one, act professional, because I got an 8-year-old kid. Number two, I'd like them to promote this, you know, the preservation of what I love, which is big fish. And if I got a choice between two companies, I'm going to go with the one who's willing to stand up for big fish conservation. Right. One who's willing to act professional for our kids, so that you know, our kids can have good you know, examples of the anglers that are representing, of just how the company carries itself. Is it going to be
I always tell people, you know, try to take that few minutes a day, talk with somebody, try to educate them, you know, on our catch and release and the program, you know, try to take care of all these big fish. I've talked with several people at the tackle shops and stuff, and we get to talking and, you know, saying how much fun it is to just, you know, release the big ones, take a picture.
It is fun watching them swim off with the big tail whip.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's it.
See you in 5 years, you know.
And, you know, unfortunately, like, you know, up here, I'm right on the Ohio River. I mean, I can pretty much see the Ohio River in Kentucky from my front porch. And we're about an hour east.
And dogs barking.
And unfortunately, you know, the commercial fishermen up here have just decimated the Ohio River. And I can remember, you know, like I said, I got started doing this real heavy around the age of 14, and it was nothing for me and my buddies to go down and just bank fish on the weekend. You know, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids bank fishing and catch 40, 50, 60-pound catfish every weekend from the bank at just about any spot we went. And now we can go out in a boat and run 40, 50, 60 miles of river and maybe catch a 40 or a 50, you know. It just, you know, it's sad that the shape that some of these waterways are in, you know.
It's definitely mind-boggling that some of the ethic that these younger or some of the older generations use sometimes, you know, on killing these big catfish. It really is. You know, when you go out there in the day and you're sitting there fishing, you look over, you got limb lines bouncing,
Mm-hmm.
people leaving the catfish on them. You know, I'll tell you straight up, I'm cutting them, plain and simple.
It's illegal, but hey, I do too, man. I mean,
I don't. Hey, I'm going to make sure the fish is going to have a chance. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. I mean, I hate.
It is
I
very.
hate seeing.
It is sad. It's sad that the commercial fishing is like it is up here and what it's decimated done to our waterways.
yeah, my lake used to be considered one of the better lakes in the country for catfishing, and now it's like you
Now,
can
and
go in
also,
every section and catch them, and now it's like you'd be lucky to get a 40 out of it.
Yeah.
now here's the thing. Now, on the other hand, you know, I'm not a hypocrite. If I go out and I want to eat some catfish for dinner, I can go out here all day long and catch 5 to 6, 7 pound catfish all day long, no problem. Our river actually has an overabundance of cookie cutters. I'll bring home one or two if I want to flay some up and cook them, you know. But these guys that's out here putting knives to 60 and 70 pound fish, and you know, let those bad boys go and swim off for another fight, you know.
That's it.
But you know, I don't have a problem with somebody wants to go out there and catch a couple catfish and take home for dinner.
I agree, Kevin.
That's part of, you know, conservation. They are a natural resource, you know, and if you want to eat a catfish for dinner, that's perfectly fine. There's plenty of fish to eat.
They call them eaters for a reason, you know.
Right.
You know, and they do need to be, you know, there does need to be a certain amount of those harvested. Guys, some guys are in this old way of thinking, saying if you remove the bigger ones, it provides more forage for the smaller ones. I'm like, in reality, the bigger ones aren't really eating what the smaller ones are eating. Yes, maybe a little bit, but it changes. It's not like, and I don't know any fishery in the country that is got too many big fish in it where it's damaging the ecosystem. I don't really think that that's the issue here.
We all know that most of the smaller, immature catfish are scavenger fish or scavenger eaters. They're eating whatever they find. And once they start maturing, then they become, you know, the predators. That's when they're out searching and hunting and stalking and eating the live baits and, you know, bait fish and whatnot. The juvenile fish, these smaller fish are scavenger fish, you know. I think you guys was actually talking about that on your last show, I believe, with the smaller fish. So, but yeah, we got to take care of what we got. You know, what we got is what we got, and if we don't take care of it now, it ain't going to be here tomorrow.
That's it. You know, it's good to take care of the numbers and keep the numbers, like you said, on these eaters at a certain number. You know, we definitely do need to do that. Wow. But you know, as far as the big ones, you know, it's great just watching them big boys just swim off. But definitely, you know, like you said, keeping a couple to eat. You know, I've seen people in the past, man, fill up their freezers, let them get freezer burned and stuff like that. You know, it's just
I mean, like here in the river, there's plenty of fish. If I decide we want to have some fish for dinner, it's no problem to go down and get fresh fish, you know.
That's it.
We're out, you know, and bring a couple home to eat, you know, some 5-pounders and flay up, and we're having a good old meal.
That's it.
Yeah, I see a lot of guides that take people fishing and they're like, yeah, we got 5 gallons of fillets. I'm like, damn, 5 gallons of fillets would go a long way. And most people, I would say a higher percentage than not, at the end of the year, when they go looking in their freezer, they're like, hey, honey, I found all this fish from last year. I went on that guide trip. You want to cook it? And then it's freezer burned. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Just throw that shit out.
I am guilty of doing that with bait, man. I have found bait at the bottom of my freezer. Like, oh man, how old is that?
My wife won't even let me keep it in the freezer anymore, which is fine. Frozen bait doesn't really work for me, but
we actually got a separate freezer for bait.
Well, yeah, I got a separate freezer for bait, and I'll clean it out, and I'll be like, man, how long's that been down there?
yeah, that ain't catching nothing.
Well, brother, tell us what's on your plate. What's your plans? Where are you headed from here?
Well, like I say, first and foremost, I have my full-time job, like I said, being a firefighter paramedic. So that consumes a good bit of my time with work. I work 24-hour shifts, and it's kind of a cool schedule. We work 24-hour shifts, and then we're off 48 hours, and we do that rotation for 2 weeks, and then every third week I'm off 5 days in a row. So while I'm still working, I don't have a real long time left before I can retire. I got a little bit, but not a long time. So the game plan, more or less, is just keep on grinding, and we're slowly and steadily increasing, trying to grow the business. And my biggest plan, like I said, is just providing quality products to the anglers at the best price. And like I said, I do not use our company. I have not took 1 red cent from this company since I've had it. Everything we make, I reinvest right back into the company with new products or trying to grow the company, advertisement, or, now don't get me wrong. Like if we, take a trip to Alabama to go fishing or whatever, we might pay for some gas, going down. But as far as paying myself and living off the company, we don't do that. I put everything right back into it to try to sustain growth, bring new products, and keep prices low. That's the thing. What we do is expensive. I mean, it can get really expensive. And sometimes for the new guy coming in and looking at this, and my goal is to share this with everybody. I want everybody to do this. I know what enjoyment and satisfaction fishing gives me. And I think if everybody could have a little sliver of that, this world would be a much better place. We'd have a lot happier folks,
That's it.
But it can get a little expensive. So my goal is to try to keep prices down, keep things affordable, but still be quality for our customers and just serve them. Like I said earlier, nobody owes me anything. Nobody, not one of my customers owe me a damn thing. I owe them. It's up to me to earn their business.
And
that's what we strive to do,
you learn a lot in this business. You learn what not to do, what to do, and you learn quick that customers are number one. That's got to be your number one goal, because that's what drives your business.
Well, I mean, look how many guys are out there. There's a lot of guys, and everybody, and there's guys that do the same thing I'm doing, and they're great guys. They got great products, just as good as mine, and this right here, catfishing, our industry as a whole is kind of exploding over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We're growing by leaps and bounds because we're bringing these new people in. We're showing them what we do for enjoyment, and they're enjoying it. So as long as everybody needs to stay positive.
That's it.
Cut the drama shit. Stay positive. Promote each other.
Yeah.
There's a big enough pie out there. Everybody can have a piece of it, and I love it when another business, especially somebody doing what I'm doing, I want them to be successful. Why would you want somebody to fail? Why would anybody want another human being to fail at something? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard out there. It's hard out there.
As long as I do me, and I know I'm doing me the best I can and taking care of my customers, I'm good. I don't want nobody else to fail. I want everybody to succeed.
That's it.
I think you're doing it your way, Kevin.
Yeah.
You started doing it a little different than other guys, which I'm sure some of these other people are trying to emulate what you're doing, because it's looks to be a successful model.
Right.
I know for a fact guys like to emulate what Jamie's doing, because it's a successful model. We kind of emulated our stuff off of other people, and that's kind of how it works. you try to see something that's working and you try to either improve it or, try to make it
Well,
work for you.
when I first got out of high school, I got lucky and I landed into a pretty good job with a guy. He taught me a lot. It was in business management, and I was pretty successful with that company. And I was a young man, 18, 19 years old. And, I didn't go to college. I had a great job straight out of high school. But that man educated me so much in business and marketing. And, he taught me one thing, and it ain't being lazy, but he told me one thing, man, and that stuck with me forever. He said, don't work harder, work smarter.
That's
Now,
it.
don't forget, you got to work hard, but
Oh yeah.
use your brain and think about it. And
Yeah, surround yourself with successful, positive people, and they tend to carry you along. You hitch yourself to their wagon and kind of learn from them, and before you
right.
know it, you're up there, and guys are trying to do the same with you. And I kind of see that's kind of how you've modeled it, and it's worked for you. I know the first 2 years of a business, or because I'm a business owner, it's
Yeah.
first 2 years, you're like, after the first year, you're like, man, screw this. It's too much. I'm in the hole. I worked the whole year for basically to lose money. But if you're smart and you figure how to put a little bit away to pay the tax man, year
Yep.
2 is a little bit easier where you're okay. Now we made a little, I'll reinvest this back into the company. By year 3, you're thinking, hell, this thing's starting to actually work.
Yeah.
But
And that's
guys
where
don't
we're at.
realize
Like I
it
said,
takes
late
about
last
3
year,
years before
we hit
you.
that growth spurt. It was kind of like we hit puberty.
That's it.
And
That's
I
it.
was like, holy shit, it's coming to fruition.
I told someone the other day, myself and Rebecca, we're doing this full time now. You won't work no harder for nobody else, but you're
Yeah.
gonna work
That's
harder
for sure.
doing it for yourself than you will for anybody else.
Well, that's exactly today. I met with my buddy Trent, the one I was telling you about that saved my
Yep.
life. I met up with him earlier and had to drop off some Mad Cat's braid to him. And I told him, man, I was like, dude, I'm tired. Like, I got off work at 6 o'clock this morning for the firehouse and come home, and we're shipping packages out the door and ordering trolling motors and getting everybody took care of. And I said, man, I'm tired, but hey, we're going to keep grinding, man. We're going to make it happen. And, just set goals. Anybody can do whatever they want to do, man. You set goals for yourself, and the sky's the limit, man. Just keep
Well,
pushing, keep digging.
I
And
tell you, man,
I can,
it's scary though, because I'll tell you,
yeah.
you know,
I tell you this, guys, if you're starting a new business, don't quit your day job and don't go in debt starting the new business.
that's it.
Start small.
Yep.
And try to grow it from there. If you go in the hole at the beginning, you are digging yourself a hole you will never be able to dig out of.
Yeah.
And the probably the biggest thing is make sure you put a little bit away for the tax man, because
Yes,
at the end of the year, if you can't pay that guy, you're going to think I am done, because I've worked and now I owe 20 grand to this guy.
Yeah.
And
The tax man will come knocking.
he's got to get, he's getting paid.
Exactly. You know what you said. Just do it right. Don't cut corners.
Yeah.
Do the best you can do. And the thing is, if you owe somebody something, take care of it. I see so many people out there that just try to cut corners and owe this person and then, and that person and this person. To me, and that's like, I just went the other day and bought a truck, and I was like, man, I ain't paid a car payment in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I own, I just worked and paid cash for everything. I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm like having this truck payment, but just do things right and take care of your business, and it all works out. More or less, we all just need to be kind to each other and do what's right, and everybody will be much better, man.
Myself and Rebecca, when we started Carolina Lake Weights, we lived by that motto. We paid for it as we went. And
Yes.
then when we opened up the second business, Carolina Custom Apparel, got the embroidery machine and stuff. We said, okay, let's pay for it. And that way everything's paid for. We have no debt with the two businesses. And so far, that's what's helped us both be able to go full time and do this the right way.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's a
That's
lot of
one
work. It
thing
really is.
I'm grateful for is, we're not indebted to nobody. Everything we've done through hard work and cash money. And, and like I said, by no means, we're not the big dog, man. We're still a little fish in a big ocean, and we're perfectly content being there. Whatever happens, as long, I'm a firm believer, if we poise ourselves in the right position and we work hard, the fruits of your labor will come,
Yep.
and nobody owes you nothing. That's the main thing. A lot of people need to realize nobody owes you anything. You
It.
got to make it happen.
Yep.
And it's the same way, you can apply that same principle to fishing on the water, man. Them fish don't owe you to come eat your bait. Get out there and work. Put time
Kevin,
on the water.
Man, I had a vet trip this weekend. I worked my ass off to make sure those guys caught some good fish. I hadn't worked that hard in a long time, but
I just want to get back on the water and do some fishing. All this work.
I ain't been able to fish for a while. Our river up here, the Ohio River, man, in the spring, it's just up and down and up and down. And I mean, it'll take 15, 20-foot rises overnight. And then you got trees going down the river and debris. And then you're like, I want to go out there and try it. And then you go out there and try it and you tear a prop up and rip a transducer off. So I usually sit out the first few weeks of spring until the river decides what it wants to do.
Man, fishing can be expensive, especially when the F-ups. And here's an example, which I got to say I saved my buddy's ass this weekend. We're fishing. I'm on a vet's trip. We hang into what I think is a tree, a small piece of timber, and I think we break the timber off. Well, we had gotten hung on something. And when it came free, we start pulling something in, and my buddy, my vet is like, looks like we caught a rod and reel combo. And I'm like, dang, sure did. We reeled it in. It was real shiny. And they're like, man, how long do you think that thing's been in the water? I was like, not more than a few days, I bet. And we started looking at it, and the eyes were wrapped around the rod, which is, I've only seen one other catfish rod that was done like that. It's called an acid wrap. It's done like that for a reason, so you can fight fish that are straight under the boat. Mm-hmm. So the eye is on the bottom of the rod, where the rod, the line's straight down. I'm like, my buddy Bill has some of these custom rods that have that acid wrap. Let me call him and ask him about this rod. I call him on the phone, and he's like, man, I just fell over in my kayak. I'm up here at Lake Texoma. I'm like, I'm up here at Lake Texoma. I just hooked into a rod. He's like, is it a custom catnip with foil lettering on it? And I'm like, oh my God, I caught your rod, It's $450 setup, I'm like, I got your rod, you lucky son of a gun. And I handed it back to him, and it was probably so many things had to align for us to catch that rod. Texoma is one of the largest lakes in the country. It's 120 miles from my house. It's 200 miles from his house. For us to both be up in the same section of the lake, on a travel lake, and then I hooked the thing. I'm the guy that hooked it, and then I call him on the telephone. It was just mind-boggling, all the things that had to align. So I wanted to tell that story because I've had a lot of weird crap happen in fishing. I've never had something like that happen. And it was crazy because I saw him over there up the lake. I'm like, there's Bill right there. Let's go give him his rod. Holy crap.
Man, that was wild, man.
Oh yeah, that is a crazy story, man.
So I had a vet trip this weekend. Let me show a picture of my vet because that was a pretty awesome experience. We got Walter a new PB. He's Army combat engineer. We did an Operation Vets with Nets trip. We didn't have a great day of fishing, but I mean, we had a great day of fishing because it was PB day and we caught a couple of good fish. I've fished all over the lake just trying to make it happen for these guys, and God blessed us with 2 PBs for those boys. So,
yeah, good deal.
Y'all don't know what Operation Vets with Nets is? It's a nonprofit organization that puts veterans out on the water, no cost to the veteran. Catfishing trips all over the country. We got chapters all over the country. If you know a vet or an active duty military that's in need of some real therapy, contact operationvetswithnets.org and get the vets out on the water. It's no cost to them. So,
for very good cause too, guys.
Yep.
It's fun stuff too. If you're a guy that just wants to give back, you can donate your time. If you're a decent angler, even if you're not great, you just like to go fish, you want to take some guys out, we're always looking for guys. So operationvetswithnets.org.
It's an awesome organization.
That's sure.
That's that's something our children, our future anglers, and our veterans, we all need to take this into consideration, taking care of our veterans that has given us so much. These guys, a lot of these guys have given everything to us for us to enjoy what we get to be able to do. And then, also, like I said, our future anglers, our children, anything with veterans or children, I'm all in. I love it. That's a good time.
That's it. And that's, Chris, I want to give a big shout out, man. 105-pound catfish caught.
Oh my goodness.
Did you see that video with JT, brother?
Those boys were going nuts. So one of our little pro staffers, JT Catfish Kid, was on the boat with his dad. He had his best friend on the boat. They hooked into a 105-pound lake monster, and it got crossed up in some lines. And somebody had told Tommy, y'all should have cut those lines, but ended up where the boys had to work together to get the fish in. They were clearing lines and untangling stuff and netting, and it was freaking awesome to see 2 boys like that working together to get that big fish. And they got a 105-pounder in the boat. And I mean, they caught a 52, I think, and a 40. They just smoked them. So
you just think of the memories. That's something that's going to stick with them boys. As long as they live, they're going to remember that moment in time.
Yeah. I was sitting there. I watched the video, and then I saw the pictures of them, at weigh-in, and both of them sitting there, man. You could tell they were sweating, holding that big fish.
Yeah.
But just the excitement on their face was just unbelievable. I must have seen.
They were coming unglued, grilling that thing in.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you're going to get it in. They're like, please, please.
and when the first time that fish come up and rolled, you could hear on video.
We've all been there, and maybe not a 105-pounder, but your best fish, even a grown man, is acting just like those kids.
Oh yeah.
That's the beauty of trophy catfishing.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I know I got a decent fish on, I am nervous as a cat on razor blades, man, until I get that fish and I actually see how that hook's set. I'm telling you, man.
That's how I am too.
Until I physically see I got a good hook set on that fish, and then I kind of chill out, but I'm still antsy until we get it in the net. But man,
yep.
I tell you, man, I would love to see. I would love to be sitting there on the boat with them boys. I mean, that you could tell that excitement was just going through the roof.
That's my boy Bill said. Thanks for saving the catnip, Chris.
But there's all kinds of exciting things happening in the catfish, world this day and time. It does seem like we're getting a lot more of the education out there. With the big fish conversation, with all the people coming together a little bit more. I know at CatCon this year, I had a blast. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Well, look at some of the products even just hitting the market. I'll tell you, and it's simple. And one of the simplest things I've seen, and it was at Catfish Conference, that really makes sense. And I'm like, why didn't somebody think about this a long time ago? Was that the calling system that Jerry Ishcomer come up with. That calling system, a calling strap, it goes, I thought about that and I said, you think about it, when we get these big catfish beating the tar out of us in the boat, usually get them by that tail and just give a little bit of pressure there and they straighten right out.
Yeah.
He done thought about all that, and made this calling system. And that was the only thing, honestly, because I got just about everything I need to fish with. I didn't even buy anything at Catfish Conference, but I bought one of them calling systems from Jerry because I was like, that's the real deal, man. That's a cool setup. It's safer to fish and makes it easier to handle. And, little things like that, that people just think about. We got all these new products coming out, like different planer boards, like companies that's already in existence, like Spread them and them just constantly upgrading, coming out with new products, or even like in new alpha boards. Those are cool. Like all this new stuff coming out is great. And it don't matter who makes them, what company it is, they're putting quality stuff out here for the anglers to use. And that's great. That's exactly where we need to be as an industry as a whole, is continue like that.
And Kevin, you were there the year before, and just by walking around, you could tell the growth in each business.
Oh, yeah.
How just the work, at CatCon from last year to this year, it looked like, so many people has exploded. Their business has got so much bigger. I know ours, we couldn't, last year we were little 10 by 10 area. This year we barely had enough room in a 20 by 20.
Yeah, exactly. That's like us. And I'll tell you, going into last year was kind of like we was a year in to our business. And I was at that point, and I was a little premature because I honestly, I thought, is this going to happen or not? Are we going to make it? And I know the first couple of years is tough for anybody. And I was like, are we going to be able to make this happen and sustain it? And we managed our way through the year. We did all right, but it wasn't, what we thought. And then, like I said, last year throughout the year was really our breakout year. We experienced a 200% growth.
Yeah.
Through the year. And that right there kind of opened the door and it was like, yeah, as long as we do what we're doing something right, as long as we keep doing that. But, I attribute that to everybody, all the business owners and everybody in the market. That's what I said. The more people we bring in and show them what we enjoy and then they enjoy it, that we're growing the community. And that's what we all need to focus on is bringing people in. And as long as we bring people in, new people, you're going to experience positive growth. We all just got to stick together and be positive with what we got. And
it was a lot of fun. I know speaking for ourselves this year, it was a lot of fun shaking so many hands, even picture taking with a lot of people, getting to know a lot of your customers that you talk to on the phone or over emails or stuff like that, actually getting a meeting and, just shaking hands with a lot of them meant a lot to myself, Rebecca, and I know Chris and all the guys that a lot of our staff that was there.
I spent most of my time out shaking hands.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys, I think, that were apprehensive last year to come say hello or to shake hands because of their allegiance to a different company, and they're worried that somebody's going to get mad at them if they see you. That I didn't see a whole lot of that. Maybe a little bit, but not very much this year. It was completely different where a lot of the guys that were at odds were embracing as brothers this year, which
hey, brother, I don't care what fishing rod you use as long as you're out there fishing. I know what I use,
Yeah, that's how
just get out there and fish, man. You know.
Use what you like and
Yep.
Have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Have fun.
That's it.
Enjoy
And
yourself. Life's too short to
places like
not
that.
enjoy it.
Yeah, like the Catfish Conference, it can be humbling also because there was so many folks that come up to me and was talking to me, and it's like they felt so honored to talk to you or want to pick. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! I'm just a dude, normal man. Hey, I ain't nobody special. I'm just me. I'm
Well, Kevin, when you come over, I felt like you were a legend, man. Shaking your hands. You know, I want to give you a hug. I want to hug your neck, brother.
That to me, that makes me, I feel completely uncomfortable in that situation. I don't know why, because to me, I'm just, I'm Kevin. I'm just, we go out here and we catfish. And it's very humbling though, but I try to I tell these folks, I'm like, hey man, I ain't nobody special. I'm just a normal guy that goes out there and works 40 hours a week and, like everybody else. We're all just normal guys doing our thing and fishing and sharing the love, like
I tell you, it will make you humble, especially when you got your customers. They come over, man, just want to get a picture, and you're sitting here thinking, man,
right.
This is cool. This is really cool, that we're able to give this kind of service, and these, our customers, our people comes and won't just shake your hand, It's unbelievable. It's worth all the work and stuff and the time that you put into it. It really is.
It makes you wonder, like, I'm just out here fun fishing and
how I can tell you
did it even get to this point? What makes me nervous, I'll be honest. My son, I don't know how many people told my son he was famous, and I'm thinking he is not famous, and he's not going to the grocery store and someone knows who he is. But some people were asking for his autograph, and by the end of the deal, so many people had told him he was famous. He actually thought that he's famous. I'm like, you ain't famous. You got a long freaking way to go.
Well, I can tell you, Chris,
there is no such thing as a famous catfisherman, because my mom, who's 75 years old, doesn't know one freaking catfish angler. There's different levels of fame. Fame is to be able to go to the grocery store and somebody's mom knows who you are. You might be recognized in this small little catfishing world we live in. But fame, I mean, come on.
I can tell you my personal experience at CatCon, when I actually got to meet you at CatCon this year. That to me was that was a great experience, because I followed you and your son and kind of watched what y'all was doing, and that to me, I was excited to get to meet you.
That's what I said to you. I was like, man, I feel like we're brothers, man. I know we've kind of followed each other what we're doing the last 2 or 3 years, but to finally get to hang out and talk with you, it's like, long lost buddy you're talking to. And I kind of felt that way with a lot of guys at CatCon this year. It was just a little different type of brotherhood. Where last year guys were like, should I go shake that guy's hand? I don't know. My sponsor might get mad if he sees me hanging out with a Mad Cats guy, or, but this year, hell, I was over there hanging out in the BCF, booth, and I don't care.
That's like, I got some of my pro staff guys, and they're like, I told these guys right off the rip, my deal, our house brand is Monster Cat Terminal Tackle. That's our rep. That's what, everything else is brands we carry and offer to people. That I'm like, I don't care. I told some of our pro guys, I'm like, you can fish with whatever rod you want to fish with. Whatever reels you want, whatever rod holders you have on your boat, that's your business. If you want to represent our company, we're Monster Cat Catfishing Terminal Tackle. Our brand is our heavy duty premium tournament grade tackle, but these guys, hey, I just want to see folks out there fishing, having fun. I don't care what you're using. I know what I use. I know what I trust, and I know what I like to sell to my customers. The products we carry them because I believe in every one of the products.
Yeah.
If I didn't believe in a product, it definitely would not be carrying it.
Doug Smith says he's blessed to fish under Kevin as pro staff, a great man and company. And Kevin, I think you got to guys that want to get on these pro staffs, because I got guys freaking hammering me all the time to get on pro staff. And the first thing I'm like is, well, how long have you been using the product? Because really, if you're going to promote something, you need to believe in and love what you're promoting if you're going to be good at it. And I think that's the number one thing, guys. If you're wanting to try to get on a pro staff, I know a lot of guys want to try to get a pro staff. They want to be a sponsored angler. That's really not what it's about. Just fish with what you like. If you like what you're fishing with and believe in it, talk about it.
Right.
Share that with your guys. Fish often, fish hard, share your journey, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. You won't have to be asking. Just use what you like and believe in what you like, and then share that with people, and the pro staff stuff will work.
There's I got several guys on the team, and everybody thinks about with the field staff guys or pro staff guys, is the first thing they think about is all these big heavy hitters, that's fishing 50 tournaments a year. And, that ain't always it. I got guys on my team, a lot of guys here in our local area in Southern Ohio, that are so loyal to our brand and our team, that go out there and fish local tournament trails. Just as much of my business is locally here as there is on a national level. That these guys, are local anglers that ain't the big heavy hitters, if you will, that go fish these national trails and fish 50 tournaments a year, that work their tail end off and are quality fishermen and represent our brand like no other. They're just amazing. So, so that don't always tie into everything as being one of the big dogs, one of the big heavy hitters, fishing 60, 70, 80 tournaments a year.
Kevin, it's funny that you say that, because we've had all different kinds on the team. And a lot of the times those guys don't bring much to as far as sales, they don't actually bring a whole lot, because they're out busy doing their thing. And sometimes it's the guys that are doing it on their local scene that are influencing their local guys, or the guys in their state, that provide the most value to a small company, because they're out doing it and they believe in it, and they're telling their friends about it, and then their friends are buying it, and then their friends are turning their friends onto it. And so I tell guys on that are trying to get on pro stuff, there's all different avenues to get there.
Right.
You don't have to be the best tournament angler in the country. I'm certainly not. You don't have to be the best guide in the country. I'm certainly not. You can be a regular hardcore angler, or just a guy who fishes often, who's friendly with a lot of people. And make your way onto a pro staff. There's all different avenues. The main thing is I tell guys, there is definitely a formula that will get you noticed. It's fish hard, fish often, share your journey, put the spotlight on the products that you like. If you do that, you won't have to ask. The company will ask you.
If you use a product, you can't use it for 2 days and be like, oh, I want to be pro staff. Like you said, if you use that product, and you first of all, you gotta believe in it. You gotta like it. Because I guarantee you, not everybody probably will like my tournament grade tackle. They might not like one of my hooks, and that's fine. Um, I'm not trying to please everybody. I'm trying to put a quality product out there, and you're either going to like it or you're not. I can't force you to like it. All I can do is the best I can to put a quality product out there. But don't, try to butter someone's bread if you truly don't believe in that product, or you don't use it.
You know what
It
really
is what
what
it is. It's
what
water
turns
under
me
the
off
bridge.
more than anything, Kevin, is when someone says, "I'll switch to you and promote you if you give me 25 free drift weights." I'm like,
Right.
really? That that ain't gonna work. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, but I got a whole freaking list of guys that are out there doing it that want to,
I can tell you though, honestly, right now, the guys that we have assembled on our team, and we just added a few new ones this year, and we're right there where we're comfortable. I think we've got representation in all the right areas by honest, hardworking, good guys.
That's the
And
way to do it, Kevin. I think if you got a few pieces from different, you got the
yeah,
tournament guy, you got the weekend guy, you
yeah,
got some guide staff, you got some guys that are maybe like myself. I'm a father and son
yep.
deal.
I
Then
feel
you
like
kind
we've just really dialed it in. I think we got the right combination right now with the guys we got, to where, and as long as those guys are happy and they like using our stuff and they like, supporting our brand, that's great. And we try to take care of our guys the best we can, and
I
being
think some guys think that getting on pro staff means you get free everything. And I'll tell you, that's not the way it works for most companies.
right.
Now, when you produce and you move the needle, yeah, you're going to get free stuff.
Yeah.
When you first start out, most companies give you a discount, and they treat each angler differently as things progress. So,
Right.
I know on my end, I started out with a discount with most every brand that I've rep, but over time, they see my value and they're going to support me at a little different level than they might
Yep.
support the other guy who's just tagging. Where I'm out there pushing and showing what I love, and guys are buying it. And you're going to get out what you put in anything in life.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it, then put in the work. It ain't just about tagging and sharing out ads. It's
Right.
really not. That's not what works.
No, I'll tell you, to me, what I love more than anything to see is these fellows that's out there fishing. And obviously, I'd be lying if I love to hear them talk about our products and mention them and say, the benefits or whatever. But more than anything, it's how these guys, how they carry themselves. I want to see them representing catfishing as a whole in a
Yep.
positive light. Not just me, my company, my product, the catfishing as a whole. Like I said earlier, the most benefit that any of our business does is bringing new people in. And these guys, everybody's team members, every company, when they're out there representing themselves and getting content out there and showing people what catfishing is about, it's helping everybody across the board because you're getting new people in.
One thing I think people loses track of also is fishing with your family. Taking kids out. But the number one is having fun. I think we're losing that focus on having fun and focusing on all the wrong things.
It don't always have to be a competition.
Yeah.
You know what, Jamie? I'm a fun fisherman. So fun is my number one thing. Now, I'll be honest, if I'm not doing well, I ain't having fun. But the pressure I put on myself to do well, thank God, over the last 35 years of doing it, I don't generally have bad trips. It's something's got to be really bad for me to have a bad trip, because I feel like if I can get a few things figured out, then it's a success. Success is relative. If I know it's going to be a bad day, but I have a little bit of success on a bad day, I feel like that's a victory.
Well, I can tell you, I've had one bad trip in the last 5 years, and we talked about that a little bit earlier.
I'm gonna speak of one. I'm gonna speak of one this week. Myself and Rebecca, we've had our fishing time since I've left work and since she's been doing this full time. This is our 3rd year. We got an anniversary coming up, as far as the company and the whole. But we haven't been able to do a lot of fun or a lot of fishing. This week we done some catfishing one night this week. We didn't catch a thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. The most positive thing we had was catching some bait, but yet, we got to interact with all of our people on a live, on TikTok, and talk to them, have a good time. Just having the experience and looking over at Rebecca smiling and stuff, feeling the accomplishments that we've done, in a whole made me feel good.
I think, Jamie, sometimes when you go live like that, you're probably putting yourself at a disadvantage as far as if something were to, if you weren't on the live, you might have said, all right, let's get this stuff reeled up. We're going to make a move. Whereas you're on live, you're like, sometimes we're having fun talking. We'll just sit here a little longer.
And sometimes you don't quite have the service where you would like to have the service. So the service don't work in certain areas. But, it was just fun being back out there, enjoying the nighttime, enjoying the scenery, getting to fish a little bit. And that's what it's about, and we've worked so hard, just like you, Kevin. You have, thank you for your service too, brother, for everything with the fire department and, stuff. Because I know I was one myself, and, it's tough out there. But, doing full-time work, doing your business like that, it does strain on you. But yet you got to make that positivity, because, I seen the picture that y'all done as a group, Kevin. I believe y'all done a big photos. And that, man, I'm going to tell you, brother, I know you were proud, as a business owner, but have all your friends.
I'm going to tell you one thing. That right there was 100% not even coordinated. There was, honestly, it just happened. Like, we knew that different one of us was all going to be there at different times and whatnot, but we never planned for that to happen. It just worked out that we was all together pretty much. I mean, we was missing a few guys, but we was all just there, and it worked out, and it was a good moment just getting to see everybody together like that.
That's it. Because I know myself with Chris and all of our, I call them family. When all of our family, that's what they are to myself and Rebecca. They're our family. When we got to take some of the pictures and stuff together, all the hard work, everything, that we've all done together, it just seems like it paid off. Just being there as one family, man.
Getting to share it all, really. Getting to come together and share, kind of bask in the glory. It's like, we're doing it, and I feel a sense of accomplishment for helping y'all achieve your dream. I told you from day one, I'm going to help y'all get to where y'all need to go. And you're like, we're going to do what we can. I'm like, I don't expect anything out of it other than I just want to see y'all do.
That's it. And just like Kevin, I've always said, if you ever need anything, brother, you got my number. Call me and I'll be there for you.
We definitely, as soon as things slow down a little bit for me, I'm going to be getting with you, because I want to collaborate on a few things that I need to get going on. So
that's it, brother. That's it. But, that's what this is about. It's one family. We've got to, enjoy each other, enjoy the moments that we have, because, you know how life is sometimes. It overtakes us. It takes you and puts that, that bind on you, and it doesn't get fun sometimes, but positivity, man, is what we try to live for.
Larry Gross says, seems like you catch better quality fish when you're more fish out for fun, when you're out for fun fishing, because myself, when I'm in a tournament, I'm tore up and stressed when I'm not catching anything and relaxed, or just throwing everything to catch that one fish. You know what? I always put pressure on myself. It doesn't matter whether I'm tournament fishing, fun fishing, whether I got guys on the boat. I expect to do well, and when I'm not doing well, it tears me to pieces. I cannot have fun unless I'm doing something.
Rebecca gets on me sometimes. She's like, "Look here, just chill out. You know, we're in a tournament. You know, you got to take it easy, lay back." She says, "Let me look at the graph. Let me take some of this off of you."
Yeah,
she's better than I am with the graph. I ain't gonna lie to you, but you know, but that's what it's about, man. I've got to learn. You know, even fun fishing, I want to catch fish. She's my coach, and you know we do a lot together. And she says, just have fun. You know, just go with it.
I'll say this: even for us fun fishermen, when you got 8, sponsors, that you feel like you're trying to produce for every week, 100% of the time, when you're out there, you want to try to, all right, I need to come back with a victory so that I can prove my worth, my value. It's not just the tournament fishing. It's proving yourself to your pro staffs and your sponsorships. And then when I got guys on the boat, guys see me out hammering them. And then when they come on the boat, I feel pressured to do something for them. And if I don't do well for them, I know in the back of their mind, they're saying, we come out here and this guy sucked.
I'm telling you, I was in a pressure situation one time. So my wife's uncle was a disabled veteran, and he had another disabled veteran friend from Arkansas. Now, mind you, we're in southern Ohio, an hour east of Cincinnati, so Arkansas is a pretty good piece from here. This guy drove all the way up here, disabled veteran. So I had 2 disabled veterans on my boat. They drove all the way up here, one of them all the way from Arkansas to fish with me. Because we was having, it was probably my best year fishing recently. Is about 4 years ago. And I don't know what it was, but the river was on fire that summer. We was putting big catfish in the boat. I don't know if all the commercial fishermen's boats just broke down or what, but we caught a lot of big catfish that year. And
Kevin, fishing is relative. Fishing is relative, man. Think how many big catfish you caught. And let's just break it down into one trip. Let's say in one trip you catch 5 good fish and you're feeling like king shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's only 5 fish. You went over so many fish that didn't eat. And there's such a fine line between victory and defeat in trophy catfishing. You lose those 5 fish, you're thinking, man, I suck.
I can tell you right here, if you can do in a typical year of fishing, if you do 2 or 3 fish over 40, you're doing really good. And that's all year. Maybe, but I was under so much pressure because I had these guys on the boat and they had seen these good fish we had been catching that year. And of course, when we went out, it was raining, windy. Which I like fishing in the rain. I always catch good fish in the rain. But the wind, man, the boat control was ungodly. And we had sit out there and we had caught a couple smalls, and nothing that definitely would have made this guy's trip from Arkansas all the way to Ohio worthwhile. And I knew it was getting about time to call it, man. And I just sit back there and I was like, Lord, please make it happen.
You get close to God on the water, don't you? That's church right there,
I'm
buddy.
telling you, I was speaking to the man directly, and man, it wasn't 10 minutes later. I was like, it ain't gonna happen, and I started trying to let him down easy. That I think we've gave it about everything we could do under the circumstances.
The one last thing you can do is put a clock on the fish.
And I looked over, man, and I seen a rod plumb slap doubled up under the boat, man. I was like, oh, get it. And, man, it was a 68-pound blue cat that disabled veteran got to reel in.
Oh,
and,
man.
To me,
epic.
Oh my God, I was so happy, dude. You could not even believe how happy I was.
Wow.
God rewarded
Watch
y'all
that man
for hanging
fight
in
that
there.
fish. And they took turns back and forth because it gave them a fight now. And both of them was disabled. So they actually took turns fighting that fish. But to watch them fellas land that fish was so amazing to me, man.
Wow.
And it just worked out. And that made everything right there. That one moment in time.
That was a blessing, brother. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Jody says she definitely fishes different on a live stream. I'm less focused because I'm tending to the camera. And I'll tell you what, Jody, I fish my ass off on a live stream because I don't want to be embarrassed. And I'll leave the camera like unattended if I need to go focus on the fish. And then maybe that's why my live streams aren't that great. But this last year I didn't do a whole lot of live streaming. I focused more on getting guys that are on the boat on fish and then fishing with my son. When I live stream, my son is not nearly as involved as he is when we're not. So
we're going to try to do a little bit of a TikTok this year, maybe. If I ever get out there and fish again, we're getting ready to. It's just about right. But I think we're going to try to dabble a little bit with some live streaming.
Aaron Kersey says, I live on the Ohio. I'm always let down.
I will say the TikTok thing, man, it's totally different than YouTube.
Yeah.
I will say that. And it's a lot of fun. It really
feel
is.
like it's a lot more interactive with the viewers.
It is. Yeah. And chats go by so fast. There's so much more energy, is what I call it, on that TikTok. It's like, wow, holy cow, let me take a break. But it's a lot of fun. It really is. And we just got up into it. We're doing a show every night around 7:30 on there, and we're having a lot of fun with it. We really are.
I might have to TikTok live my fishing next year.
That's it. Makes me feel young. Let's just say that all these youngsters talking about TikTok makes me feel a little bit younger. So,
yeah.
What do y'all talk about while you're fishing?
Brother, I tell you, it goes from fishing. It talks about family. It talks about business. I mean, it's just all over the place. But I'll tell you, you really don't have to say a whole lot on TikTok if you're fishing. They just enjoy being there, watching you fish, and enjoying the scenery. That's
like when I go live on YouTube, which, I may have 30, 40 guys watching. It ain't a big crowd.
Yeah.
And when I go live, it's all about the fish. They want to know how I'm doing, what I'm doing, how I'm catching all these big fish, giving up the secrets and all that. Mine's a fishing live stream. It's really not an entertainment thing. Like I see a lot of guys, it's about the entertainment aspect of it. For me, it's about the fish. I'm not going to be a talk show where it's like trying to be funny, and I'm just that doesn't work for me.
It's amazing that the questions you get while you fishing, because a lot of people that's on there, don't get to do a lot of fishing, or they don't know nothing about fishing.
Right.
See, most of the guys on my live stream fish. They just trying to go to the to the next level of it.
Well, see, I think with TikTok, when these guys get on a TikTok, they just start flicking through things, and they see something that looks appealing versus, like, I think on the YouTube format, it's more somebody goes on there and specifically looks for that content.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I think in my mind, that's pretty much how.
Well, you sit there when you start to go live and you see all these things and say, join. That's people coming through and they're saying, okay, let me see what this is about. And then next thing you know, you get a lot of people coming on there. They're wanting to see the line, the rods, the reels, every detail, what you're using. So it's like restarting over and reteaching it to a lot of people. I mean, it's amazing.
You know what, Jamie? I think that's cool. That's there's guys out there doing that. Mm-hmm. To me, that's kind of a whip. you know, I love helping guys, but I also don't want to have to talk about the bait that I've used every 5 minutes. Somebody's asked, what bait you get? You know, most of the guys that I like to live stream with are accomplished anglers, and they're just out there to try to kind of see some of the cool shit that we're doing to take it to their next level of fishing.
It's a total different format.
I've had guys like, you know, when Dieter come on, he's like, man, if you would get down to the basics, you'd have a lot more popular thing. I'm like, I'm really not in it for the popularity. And I enjoy like, you know, catering to the higher level, really. I mean, I enjoy that aspect of it rather than just talking about the very basic.
And I'll tell you, Chris, it's not for everybody. Trust me, it took me forever. I'm gonna be the first.
I'm gonna give it a try just to see if I like it.
It took me forever to get to the TikTok side of things. Now, I will tell you, there's a lot of plus to the TikTok side of things where there isn't over on the YouTube side, as far as business wise.
Okay,
and Kevin,
I see that. They promote you a lot more. I've got a TikTok. I did it for a month. I got like 1,400. I did realize, hell, it's a lot easier to get people to follow you on TikTok because I had like 1,400 in a month, and hell, I'm at 3 years on YouTube, and I'm at 1,700 now.
That's
3 years. Took me 3 freaking years.
Well, Chris, I'm still at, I think, 605.
Shoot, when I started my TikTok, I sit there and I was looking at it, and I was like, I didn't know nothing about it, man. I had to have my son show me about this stuff, you know. And I'm looking, he's like, well, you got to have 1,000 viewers before you can do live.
Yeah.
I was like, well, how long is it going to take me to do that? You know, like, he's like, I won't take you long. Just start making some content. And he said, you make some content and put it out there. He said, people, you know, you'll start getting views and all this stuff. And literally it took like 4 or 5 days to hit the 1,000 viewers, you know. And I was like, well, that was easy enough, you know. Like, I'm thinking I had to do all this stuff for months, you know, to get 1,000 people to want to see what you're doing, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast you go from being, say, around 500 to next thing you know at 3K. I mean, that's what we're getting close to 3K, and we just started. I mean,
I was surprised because I just did some, you know, crazy little short video and put some music on it and some sparkly stuff. The next thing I know, that thing had like 10,000 views in like 3 days. And I was like, what now? Like,
I mean, it's crazy, man. You can literally go take a video of you just filling up your truck with gas or something and take a picture of the boat, and it's like, bam, you know, you got 5,000 views. It's like, what? You know, what in the world?
I mean, I literally took a picture of a pile of fishing hooks on my kitchen table and had like 8,000 views. I was like, it's a pile of fishing hooks.
and Chris, you know, too, you got people that comes into your lives that they're actually across the country. They could be in Australia. They could be in,
you know, I can understand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what's so cool about that is they're actually talking to you about their setups, vice versa. You talking and showing them your setups. And you know, I find that intriguing. It's a lot of fun, you know, seeing other people's setups, you know. And now we have actually made friends and actually sharing some stuff and sending some stuff over to the UK and different places. And, you know, that's been the fun
it's
side
like
of it.
Myself, I've caught myself on TikTok watching these guys fishing live for hours. And I'm like, I mean, I know how to fish. I've been fishing my whole life, but I'm still intrigued watching these guys fish, like seeing how they do it. What are they doing? Where are they fishing? You know, I'm intrigued by that. And I find myself watching other anglers for hours at a time.
I like to watch other anglers, but there's also a lot of guys that I watch. I'm like, I'm not going to learn much from that guy. I don't understand why people are watching this guy. I mean, he's not catching good fish. He's not really doing anything that's gonna teach you how to. I mean,
And I promise you'll see 10,000 of them on TikTok. Let me tell you.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see
It's
a lot
amazing.
of.
I mean, honestly, you could find it. I watched a guy repo cars for an hour the other night. I'm like, what has my life come to? I'm watching a guy on TikTok repossess cars.
That's like last night.
That's
I
your
caught
hook.
myself watching these millionaires play these quarter machines that pay out like 5 to 10 millions of dollars. Watching them, I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Aaron Kersey says, man, I know so many people that are not accomplished fishermen that are pro staff, never caught a fish over 20, 30 pounds. Help me understand that. Never won a tournament, never placed in a tournament, never been to a big tournament. So what, in your opinion, does it take to become a pro staff for a company? I'll tell you, every company's different. I am on a ton of what I consider some of the best teams in the country. I'm on Carolina Lake Weights. I'm pro staffed at Mad Cats. I'm sponsored angler for SmackDown. I'm field staff for Multi-Bar. I've got, I'm Parks Planer Board pro staff, Knickknacks Custom Bait Boards. Every one of them is completely different. Yep. They all have different, they all have a little different philosophy of what they are looking for out of their anglers. Some of them want you just to rep yourself in a professional manner in the fishing industry and help just give that company somewhat of a good reputation. Right. Some of them want you to promote the brand. Some of them want you to be out there just slaying fish. You know, I feel like being on Mad Cats, they want me out there hammering big fish. It helps having my son out there breaking records, but we're out there every week doing it. Now, there's companies that just want to give some guy a pro staff it may be just kind of a reward for being a great customer who promotes well, who's getting the information out there to guys maybe that aren't that haven't seen the product, because a lot of this is still in the mom and pop phase. So promotion from a pro staff is basically having guys work for you for free, and you get paid on the back end by how well you promote. In my case, I get most of my stuff for free now because I move the needle on the stuff that I believe in. And I think a lot of pro staffs are built the same way in that matter. They want to see how well a guy does. They're willing to take a chance on guys that are, helping the brand. And they want to try to, give you a reward for being positive and good and all that. I don't see really a problem with companies wanting to help out a guy who's not known for anything, but other than being a good dude and promoting. It doesn't, the company's not losing anything by giving a guy a pro staff position. They're actually hoping that it can be a beneficial deal and you can grow together. Both companies are starting at the bottom. You may grow, you can't get the Fountain Brothers to promote your crap if you're a brand new company. You got to start somewhere. And Jamie, I got on with him from the get-go, and same with kind of like Mad Cats and stuff like that. They were looking for guys that were going to help them get to where they wanted to go. And then they wanted to help me get to where I wanted to go, which I don't really even know where I'm headed. I just want to help my son. And that's pretty much how the pro staff stuff works for a lot of brands.
And Chris, myself, we as what we do is family. You got to fit the family. You got to work together and be a family. That's first and foremost. But you got to give somebody a start sometimes. You got to say, hey, somebody's got to start somewhere.
I'll give you a perfect example of that. I dug Jesse Campbell out of nowhere. The dude's a great angler. He's freaking slaying big fish. He's out there fishing every week. Turned out he's as good as anybody. We took a chance on him. How do you think he feels when somebody's going to take a chance on him and believe in him? What do you think he's going to want to do for you? I mean, that's how partnerships are built. That's how you find some of your best guys. It's not by finding somebody who's already out there doing it. They don't feel like they got to really go work for you for free. But if they want to prove themselves, it's a young, hungry guy, and he proves himself to be something, then you reward that guy. And I think that's the best kind of pro staff.
Well, I can tell you on our staff, I have guys right now, like we talked about earlier. There's a variety and there's a mix.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, Kevin.
For me, that's what works for me and our company is I have guys that are by no means professional anglers. They're weekend recreational fishermen that go out there and, they believe in the brand and they promote it regionally or locally, all the way up to guys that fish tournament trails every week, national tournament trails, And every one of those guys are different caliber people. They're different caliber anglers. But they all have something in common is they love catfishing.
That's exactly it right there. You have that commonality. We all come from different walks of life.
Because to me, look at the guys when you get the big, like we talked about earlier, you get the big heavy hitters that just hammer these national trails every week. That's great. People's paying attention to those guys and they're putting product out there. But you also look that's kind of like picking the low hanging fruit off of a tree when you're looking at it from our end of putting your brand out there. I want the guy right here local in my region also that fishes smaller tournaments because there's way more anglers that fish these smaller tournament trails, regional tournament trails, than there is that fish these big national trails. And when I have an angler that's fishing these smaller trails, that's promoting our brand to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other anglers around, that regional local area, that's just as beneficial for us as that heavy hitter pushing it, at the, on the big level.
I would agree. I would say it's to put that in perspective. Most guys on the local scene have no idea who that heavy hitter even is.
Right.
They don't. There's only about 5,000 to 10,000 guys that are really hardcore into catfishing that all somewhat know of all the guys. Right. There are a million that are below that have no idea who Kevin Walter is, no idea who Jamie Dunn, no idea who Chris Gamble is. They have no freaking idea who we are. But, in your little local scene, everybody knows who you are, and you have an influence over that scene. And if you got a pro staff and you got a guy in Alabama, Greg Mays, and then you got somebody in, in Conway, South Carolina, then you got somebody in Dallas, Texas, you got another guy in Georgia, the sum of all those small parts turns into a giant conglomerate machine that's starting to kick some ass. And I think that's the magic of some of these pro staffs. I think we've built one hell of a pro staff and sponsored angler team. And all our guys aren't super well known. Some of them are,
And Chris, it might not be big to a lot of people, but here, like what we've done with the hooks after all of our junior anglers. Okay. Now releasing a new rig, of course, the Jesse James Outlaw rig. It's just our way of giving back to everybody and saying thank you, man, for what you're doing. That means a lot to the kids. That means a lot, to Jesse. Like the Go Big Go Home rig. The double hook rig. That we've got. It just goes back to saying thank you guys for what you're doing.
I agree. Here's what Aaron Kersey says. Companies I use are friends of mine and give me good deals. Hook me up with free stuff, etc., but being a part of that team. That family is what I want, and am I looking at it wrong? I don't believe you're looking at that wrong at all. And we call what we got over at Carolina Lakeweights a family thing. One of the things that I like about our teammates is we all support each other. It's not every man for himself like some of these other teams I'm on. We all support each other. And I also have an expectation of our guys to help the customers when they ask a question. Yeah. I expect an open book, and I look and I'm seeing who's talking to people and answering and being helpful. And those are the best types of teammates to me. Guys that are truly like a family member who's willing to help each other. If somebody needs something, they reach out. If they know somebody that needs something, you can say, hey, I actually know a guy up at Hoover that's on my team. Let me get in contact with him, and I'll get you in contact with him, and he'll help you. And I think that's definitely the way to be, Aaron. And that's how I look at it. The best companies and the best teams are a family.
You can think you're too big for a lot of this. You can let your head swell up sometimes and say, man, well, I'm over all day. I need everything I need for free because of who I am. To me, when you start getting that kind of, how's the polite way, cockiness to, being that way, to me, that's kind of a turnoff, thinking I'm over everybody. That's one thing that I try to stay away from.
I've never asked for a single thing from one of my spots for free. Ever. I wouldn't think to ask.
Like, the guys I got, I am blessed to have the guys that we have on our team. I feel blessed as a business owner to have those fellas that want to be a part of our family, and I'm honored, every one of them.
Kevin, you're a good dude. It seems to me that in this catfishing thing, birds of a feather flock together. And I've seen some of these other teams where it's a bunch of guys that are not positive type people. That's completely separate from your team, from the team over at Carolina Lakeweights, from some of the other teams I'm a part of.
And that's like I said, obviously we want all of our anglers to be successful. But the main thing to me is them guys is out there doing what they love and having fun. Representing my team is second. It should be second to those guys. Number one should be enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, how well are you actually going to represent someone, So have fun with what you're doing, whether it's competitive or just being out there to do it. Have fun with it. And then represent,
I think having fun with it and being respectful. I have to say that if you're not respectful, then you will not be on our team for very long. And we haven't had really a problem with that, but I do see that a lot in other areas. I'm like, thank God we're not dealing with that.
And Kevin, you probably get together with some of your guys local that you have there that's part that represents your company. You're sitting there, you got a barbecue, you're enjoying each other's company and stuff. I myself wish I could do that a lot with all of our family. Like I said, I call all of our pro staffs and family. I wish I could do that a lot with them guys. But we all call each other. We all talk to each other. Like myself and Chris. We talk almost every day, If I don't hear nothing from, it's like, okay.
Is some of my guys I talk to more than I talk to my blood family.
That's it.
Which of course, my brother, my own brother, he's a sergeant for the sheriff's department. So he works some crazy hours too. We don't ever get to see each other or talk very much. Or if we do, it's just on the phone for a couple minutes, And there's some of my other guys, pro staff guys, and I'm talked to way more than I get to with my own brother, even, But yeah, I'm going. I'm planning a trip here real soon to Alabama. I want to go down. I want to spend some time with Greg Mays and Don Lawrence and Dan Treadwell and James Linderman. He's been on our team for a long time. Those are all good guys I got, and we're going to make that happen here soon, you know, to get down and see them guys and spend some time with them. Then I got some more in Tennessee, you know, that I want to spend some time with. So it's a two-way street. It really honestly is, you know.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. It's, I
Couple weeks
think
ago-
the best types of relationships, Kevin, are mutually beneficial.
Yes.
You know, your guys are benefiting from you, and you're benefiting from them. And that's the way it should be. If it's a one-way street, generally not going to work. Somebody's going to feel like they're too big for you, or, you know, they're too good, or, you know, I should be getting all this or that, you know, just because who I am without actually doing anything. I do see that a lot. And I get approached that way from a certain amount of people. I'm like, can you believe this? You want a percentage of sales? What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're not Bill Dance. You're not Jimmy Houston. Come on. So Aaron Kersey said, I was told it's all about my following. And, you know, I don't even know that it's really about that. I think if you're a positive influence in the catfishing community and you fish hard, you fish often, I think whatever you want to do will work out for you. You know, the main thing is staying positive, fishing hard and fishing often. And then if there's products that you like, shine the light on those products.
That's the thing. Like we said earlier, you can't just jump in and use someone's hooks for 2 days and be like, you know, you got to use that product and really know it. Does it
could
work
take
for
a year.
You like
you
it.
know?
You honestly like it, or do you just want to be say, I'm pro staff for this company? You know, use it, and like you said, shine the light. If you like that and it works for you, shine the light on that. And slowly, once you do that, people's going to start seeing you and your positivity that you're putting out there.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a walking commercial. A lot of guys say, I don't want to be a walking commercial. I don't want to be a walking commercial either. But all I'll say is we drug our Carolina lake weights all day long. They kept us in the game, and we hammered them. You know, which is exactly what happened. You know, we put our Mad Cats rods to work all day long. You know, Parks planer boards were reaching out and grabbing them all day. You know, it's really simple. To me, it's really simple, and I enjoy it. I was doing it before. It just came natural to me. Some guys say, man, it's a lot of work. I'm like, shit, I was doing this before I ever got a sponsorship, but I guess that's probably why I got them all. It just, you know, for some guys it's work. Some guys it's just part of fishing.
And I'm gonna tell you, I love watching the pictures of all of our guys. You know, they send pictures through the chat and stuff. I enjoy watching everybody's weekends or every day when they go fishing.
I agree. I want to see your kid holding up the fish. More than I care about the product. You know, the advertisement. I want to see you out there actually doing it.
Yeah,
that's what's valuable in fishing to me.
Yeah.
Go do it.
And it's amazing, you know, like I said, you know, watching the pictures with the kids, reeling them in, man. I mean, it's just things like that warms your heart. And, you know, getting to see that, you know, that's what it's all about. It really is.
That's like your son, Chris. Getting to watch him, that is exciting to me. I get excited inside watching him. He's
you know,
full of energy, and he's such a personality. And you know by watching him that he 100% is enjoying what he's doing. He's having a blast with it, you know?
Yeah, I put out a short today of him just reeling in some big fish, and then I posted a short little clip of him holding up the big fish, and I was like, that right there is just pure joy. I mean, he was just going nuts holding up these fish and doing his little whatever he does. He's rocking and rolling. He's giving thumbs up, and I'm just like, man, that right there just makes me realize I am so lucky to have a kid who's out there doing that with me.
I will say, Chris, the best I've seen though is him trying to fish from the top of the canopy of your boat. I mean, hanging from the top.
Man, lately he's been asking, "Can I reel this big fish in from the top of the T-top?" I mean, you can't get mad at that. That's good stuff.
That's good stuff right there, brother.
Yep, it's a pleasure to have a kid on the boat, even if it's not my kid. I like watching kids, even if it's a pain. You know, it's not easy. It's difficult, but it sure is a pleasure when something happens.
And I think I seen in the comments, you know, Doug mentioned something that, you know, not all of his kids are grown up and whatnot. And you know, I enjoy, so I think that's why I never was really able to get my two sons in it. I tried, and they just, I don't know why. They each had their own things going on, you know, and I just couldn't get them to bite on it. And you know, each their own. If it wasn't their thing, I'm not going to shove something down their throat, you know.
Yeah.
I tried to get my wife, and she kind of enjoys fishing, but she is definitely scared to death of snakes, man. And I finally got her to fish a tournament with me one time. And we're out there pulling planer boards, having a good old time. She's got a book, she's reading it. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this big, about a 4 or 5 foot water snake swimming across the water, man, right out by my planer board. And I'm like, oh, man, if she sees this thing, it's a wrap. I mean, it's way out there, but I'm like, if she sees this, it's over. She's going to have a heart attack, go ballistic. So I'm deciding myself, am I going to tell her about it, or am I just going to let her look up and be surprised by it?
Yeah.
So I opted that I was going to warn her. And, man, I'm telling you, I had the bimini top up on my boat because it was hot. We had the bimini. She tried to climb on top of the bimini top of that boat, man. I'm like, that thing ain't going to hurt you. It's going on about his business, you know. So that was it for my wife. So I'm kind of out there. All I got's my buddies, you know. My kids do. My boys are both grown, but they'll come and go once in a while. But, you know, they're just not into it all the time like I am.
I get that. You know, it's getting these kids going. It is somewhat of a project.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen. And not all, like my kid, it's not like I just took him and he's like, oh, I love to go fishing. Man, it was a freaking battle to get him out there. And there was a lot of short trips, a lot of times where we'd stay out there for an hour and come home. But I didn't sit out there and just try to force him to do it. I just was like, I'm going to invest. It's going to be a long-term deal to try to get him going. And, you know, Doug said, yeah, but all my kids are grown and y'all keep leaning towards kids. Some of us don't have that option now. I'm an old dad. Hell, I'm 49 years old with an 8-year-old. Okay. Most guys with an 8-year-old are like 30 years old, 35 years old, because my son's in sports, all these young dads. Hell, I'm old, man. But a lot of the guys that I take on the boat are grandddads. It's their freaking son's kid. So you don't have to have a kid. You can still invite your neighbor who might have a kid who doesn't fish. You can invite somebody who doesn't get to go all the time, might not get to catch a big fish. Those really are some of the best trips that I go on are with people who don't even hardly fish at all. And I get to go take them out there to have this crazy freaking adventure catching these, because it's normal to catch big fish for guys like us. It ain't normal for most people to get to go do that. It's very rewarding.
I want to share this with you guys, and I think this is important. And, you know, I've thought about this a lot. So, you know, part of my children, my 2 boys, not really being as interested as I would have liked them to be was probably a lot of my own doing, due to maybe putting too much pressure on them. I had to have a whole kind of a mental reset at a certain point in my life because of my mindset. I tended to lead toward trying to be a perfectionist and everything. And I think it actually came from my work, because in the work that I do, if you make a mistake, somebody can die quick. And you can't make, when you're a paramedic in the back of the ambulance, you can't make a mistake or somebody's going to die. When you're a firefighter, you can't make a mistake because somebody can very well die. So I led that into what I did with fishing, and I pushed myself for perfection. And I think I probably in the beginning didn't make fishing fun for my children like I should have, because maybe I was too hard on them if they made a mistake or they didn't do this right or do that right. And that hurts my heart and my soul that I possibly
you know
was
what,
the
though,
reason
Kevin?
that my children didn't enjoy it.
That's
But I
part of being a
realize that
dad.
now. That's why I want to tell everybody else, go easy on these kids. Nobody's going to be perfect and do things perfect every time.
Yeah.
I-
Nobody knows how to do this crap being a dad. It's all, you just got to figure this
Right.
stuff out, man. It ain't easy. Hell, I got probably one of the hardest freaking kids to parent there is. I mean, you tell him no, he's doing it. And my buddy's like, man, you got a lot of patience with that freaking kid, because I got to say, if I was a younger man with a boy like my son, I'd probably F him up, because he'll push your freaking limits. And yeah, I mean, I'll spank his ass, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Kids are difficult to fish
You
with,
can't
man.
you can't be so critical on them, because people mess up and people make mistakes. And I think one day after, like my kids not being so interested in it, and I'm thinking, it's probably because I tried to put too much pressure on them to make something happen that, I might have not made fun for them when it should have been one of the best experiences in their life,
Kevin, I know how you feel, Bob. I actually done some of that myself with my kids, but now I'm actually, my kids are actually growing up, and we've started doing some tournaments together and stuff like that, and
Right.
it's like, okay, I'm laid back more now.
Oh yeah, I get them on the water a lot more now that they're adults, grown, than I did when they was smaller.
That's it. That's it.
You grow
Chris,
as
my oldest son, Chris, he's like, Dad, if you only knew what it was like to hold the flashlight for you.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You grow as an older, the older you get, and you learn that, you might not have known everything you thought you knew when you were younger. And you don't have to be so rigid and hard on a little kid when it really does need to be about the ducks. It might not be about the fish. It might be about the fish that's flopping over there on the side of the shore, or the bird that's flying by. Or sometimes you got to keep things in perspective, that when you're with a little kid, there's a lot more to fishing than catching fish.
That's
and
right.
Most of us, when we get so immersed in it, we just want to catch the fish, and you forget about all the other cool aspects of fishing, the cycle of life, learning about the ecosystem, and learning about ecology, and learning about being a good steward of the lake and the environment, and teaching your kid to pick up a piece of trash while you're walking to the boat, and just all the little things. I think as you get older, you start to understand that's really what all this is about. It ain't really even about catching these damn fish.
Right.
Now, Chris, the worst part that mine and my kids we have is they think they know where all the good fishing holes are, and that's the only thing. Now we're like,
come on,
okay,
man.
Yeah, during the tournament they're like, no, we need to be here. No, we need to be here. So that's a lot of fun. But they learn, man. They pay attention. So they're like, okay, this is why they are over here, but not over here. So it's so it's a lot of fun in that situations.
Aaron Kersey says, I bust ass too, but then you got to drop it and move on. Punishment is over. Let's go have some fun. And I'm the same way. I don't really want. When I had my son on the boat, he's always been the boy that, You tell him, don't do that. And then he's up. As soon as you turn your back, he's got his foot over the line. And I didn't want going out on the boat to be an ass whipping type of deal. So I let him at a very young age cut bait, throw the bait in the water. He'd eat shad eyeballs. And, it was all just part of the fun. And it worked. So one of the things why I got going on this showing how to get kids going on catfishing, because it worked for me. I got to believe my kid is probably one of the hardest freaking kids to get going on fishing. And if I could freaking do it, then anybody can do it. It just takes a lot of patience with a freaking little hell raiser like my son. You just want to whoop his ass a lot, but
But then you think sometimes, Chris, like, wow, man, how was I when I was little? Was I?
Yeah.
And then,
now I know why my dad didn't take me, like kids are pain in the ass.
And then, 20, 30 years from now, you're going to look back and you're going to see what your son's made of his life. And it's all, already myself, my boys are 22 and 21 years old, and already my oldest son's followed, he's a firefighter EMT.
Yeah.
And my youngest son drives a huge ass crane and carries buildings around, at 20 years old. And I'm like, I feel successful.
Yeah, you did something right there, buddy.
Yeah, it does. At the end of the day, it all comes full circle.
And now it's time. Now, Kevin, now it's time to enjoy everything, brother.
Yeah,
Kind of sit back and do a lot more fishing.
That's for sure.
But yeah, I tell you, man, I'm ready to get back up there. I'd like to come up and do some fishing with you sometime, brother.
Oh yeah,
I really would.
On. We, like I say, it's not the best in the world, but it's fun. I love our waters up here, and we can get on some good fish still. You got to be a little patient. You can't guarantee that every time you're going to go out and catch a 40, 50, 60, 70 pounder. But I can say that both of my personal best, flathead and blue cat, is both right here within 2 miles of my house. Mile and a half one way was my PB blue of 68 pounds. 2 miles the other way upriver is my PB flathead. It was 72 pounds. And that's 4 pounds off the Ohio State record, and that's all right here at home.
Yeah, that's the beauty of catfishing. You never know what you're going to get in any body of water. I mean,
that's what I tell all my buddies when we go out. I just imagine there's a state record in here somewhere.
Yeah,
find it.
That's it.
Yeah. The Ohio River is a big body of water. I mean, it's the stretch we typically fish. We usually fish about a 50, 60 mile stretch on a regular basis, and it's a lot of water, Yeah. There's good fish left in it, but we just gotta keep pushing our state legislatures to put more regulations and rebuild it to what it once was,
That's it.
Well, Kevin, it's been a great night, man. I've had fun tonight.
I have too, man. It's been good. See what happens when you just kind of roll with it. You ain't got no formal plan. You just let it go, man.
Yeah.
That's how we normally roll.
Yeah. So is there anything you got coming up you want to talk about before we get off? You got anything that's come up that you might want to promote, something new?
Well, I do know there is a big tournament that two of my pro staff members, Bink and Janet Fox, they are up here in Ohio. They're getting ready to have a tournament up here. It's the Vinton County Cancer Research Tournament. It's an annual tournament they do every year. It's a big event. Bink actually had cancer a few years back, and this is where he's completely recovered from it. This organization stepped up and helped them when they was down and helped him get through all this. So it's become near and dear to his heart. So every year he does this big benefit tournament to help that that group that stepped in and helped him in his time of need. So that's a big deal going on up here. It's all over Facebook. If you just look, for Binker Janet, they got it everywhere. So that's getting ready to come up. Other than that, we're just going to do some local tournaments and some local expos. We travel a lot to different expos, and try to show people what we got to offer.
Aaron says you guys be at the Sea Arc Owners Tournament.
No, not unless I find someone. The guy that I normally fish with, he's not going to make it this year. So unless I find somebody with a Sea Arc that has an open seat and wants me to jump in with them, I ain't going to make this year.
Yep, I got a bay boat, so that doesn't work for me.
Jamie?
We just gonna continue grinding, cuz.
That's right.
Doing what we doing, brother. I will say, I will be out the office tomorrow. I'm going fishing.
Man, I hope you nail a monster, buddy. You deserve one, man.
Yep.
You've been working.
Myself and Rebecca, we're going to take a day off.
I hope you get into them good, man. It's that time of year. It could either really be good or you can go take an ass whipping. So hopefully it's the good side.
And Kevin, I want to say thank you, brother, for being on the show tonight too, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for the invite, man. It's been awesome. It's been a real time.
Yeah, it's a good time, and you're welcome back anytime, Kevin. You guys need to get hooked up with Carolina Lightweights. I think we could all make a good team.
Oh, yeah.
We like to promote our team members. There's no reason why y'all shouldn't be partnered up. So y'all get that.
I think my buddy Mark Gelkison over there in chat. He's got a good net, man. That's my good buddy. He's a firefighter EMT also. He always gets, he's like, well, I've turned into a good net man because you always catch all the big fish. But I'm gonna tell you what, it wasn't here just a month or so ago. Mark smoked an absolute pig. So he got to be on the other end of that. He wasn't a net man on that one, but he is. He's my good net man.
Yeah, I got me a new hat, and it says Netman on it. So I'm cool with that. I enjoy netting my boys' fish. And, I've been taking lots of other guys fishing, and I get as much joy out of other guys catching good fish as me catching them, or probably more joy at this point. Right. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep putting kids on fish, putting vets on fish, helping guys. That's what brings me joy. So, Kevin, appreciate you coming on. You're welcome back anytime, brother.
Appreciate the invite, guys. I've had a blast.
Jamie Dunn, any last words, bro?
Hey, enjoy it. Enjoy your family, people, and get out there and do some fishing.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Fish hard, fish often. Share the journey.
That's it.
Tight line. God bless, guys. Azul out.
Later.
See you.